Well.
Another fun-filled day in the world's largest casino, aka the old stonk market. And when I say fun-filled, I basically mean that we violently went nowhere, and as a day trader, it wanted to make me rip my hair out. And I get it, I hear ya, there's no crying in the casino, but it's exactly days like this that remind me why I hate day trading, and I wholeheartedly believe swing trading is where money is to be made and where your sanity is to be kept. But obviously, we'll save that rant for another time. As of now, we have something far more important to chit chat about. Yes, I'll be breaking down what happened in the overall market. Of course, I'm gonna make that quick, but really what I wanna talk about is AMD. If you are involved in that ticker in any capacity, if you're invested in it, if you're trading it, if you're just watching it, you're gonna wanna listen to this video because man, oh man, does this particular ticker look like it wants to explode to the upside. But very quickly, before we get into all that nerdy financial talk, if you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, and give me a shout out and a comment below. All that engagement really does help me out. With that being said, let's get into it. By the time the closing bell went dingity ding 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 on this not so fun of a hump day, this was the official headline. S&P 500 closes higher after another volatile session, aided by strong bank earnings. Clearly, this headline was written by an intern at CNBC who isn't a day trader, because I can tell whoever wrote it still has all their hair on the head and didn't freak out from all the action. Now, I get it. If you're a day trader, if you're paying attention to the daily chart, things actually kind of looked fine. Like, okay, whatever, we poked a little bit higher, we're on this trend line. Overall, we're not that far from the all-time high. Same thing on the Nasdaq. So the S&P 500, the Nasdaq looking good. If you're still a gold bug, congrats to you, new all-time high. Yeah, it looks like at least on the daily chart, there was quite a bit of opportunity. However, if you look at what's going on in the intraday chart, we had a big pop. We had a huge drop. Bottom looked like it was found. We vomited again. When it looked like Armageddon was a couple minutes away, we had a huge pop for another drop, for a pop anyway. Like I said, we violently went nowhere. And if you are a day trader, my heart goes out to you. Obviously, the Nasdaq wasn't much different. If you looked at volatility, we were dying off, then we weren't, then we were. And obviously, the belle of the ball is AMD. But before we get to that, I want to show you how crazy the options were for the S&P 500. We were flat, huge vomit, and then we just kind of found a base throughout the day. But we had a multi-billion-dollar delta notional sell-off. Absolutely crazy. Pretty much the same situation in the Mag 7. And really, I'm bringing this all of your attention because we had relative weakness. So please remember that. As for those of my viewers who are saying, okay, why were things on a relative basis weak midday? We did get an update from the Treasury Secretary. He says the stock market decline won't deter the US from taking strong action against China. So the market was like,
what, brother? You don't care about us?
So most likely that's why we experienced the abnormal volatility today. I know you're surprised. It wasn't something that Trump had said, which is what we had to deal with for the past couple days, but obviously still a part of the administration. But you know, it's not deterring retail traders. Retail traders were huge buyers of the last week's market sell-off, but hedge funds sold. If you are watching this video, I would love to hear from you. Whether you're a retail trader or a hedge fund, are you buying this dip? Or are you thinking more of the hedge fund round of, this is the top and things are about to get more painful? Truly, I would love to hear from you. You shopping on discount or are you waiting for a better opportunity? And while you're letting me know your plans, I want to let you know that I think AMD is looking phenomenal. A few cents, a few shekels away from a new all-time high, gaining 9.4% today. And this is the crazy thing. Over the past month, up 49%, year to date up 95%. So relative basis, very, very strong. And it's always useful, at least in my humble opinion, to pay attention to relative strength and relative weakness when looking for opportunity. So in the recent term, the major narrative is this: Oracle Cloud to deploy 50,000 AMD AI chips, signaling new NVIDIA competition. And this is basically bolstering recent news. That's the same thing. More and more people are using AMD chips on like the larger business scale. Now, obviously, the narrative is important, but I would argue that it's not the end-all be-all. The end-all be-all is price, and we see nice higher highs, higher lows, strong momentum. But check out what happened in options today. The AMD delta just ripped, and think about that relative strength to what we saw in the SPY. Nothing but a puke, nothing but a puke, but yet everyone and their grandma wanted to buy AMD. Well, this caused me to dive a little bit farther into where I think it could potentially go, and the fact that we are above this 230 support, the fact that we are above this 235 support, well, all of a sudden 240 is looking pretty good, and so is 250. So if you happen to be paying attention to AMD, and just so you know, right now I'm not talking from the perspective of an investment. Obviously, this is more of short-term stuff of where I can see things going in the next couple weeks. There's a lot of negative gamma there. People are targeting the 240s. Same thing with the 250. But what's exciting is as we start to fall down this negative gamma slope, it can actually speed up in price, which is actually making me very confident in this breakout and this follow through. And in all reality, I wouldn't be so surprised if AMD's technical breakout is so strong that it brings the entire semiconductor sphere with it, and thus the Nasdaq, and even maybe the overall market. I'm talking the granddaddy of them all, the S&P 500. I think we might be able to tie it back to the clear relative strength in AMD, which is apparently at this point a runaway train, or I guess I should say a runaway rocket. And very quickly before I let you go, I am not the only one thinking this. As you can see today, Wednesday, October the 15th, AMD is the 6th most popular options contract traded behind the overall market, the tech sector. The only couple of equities above it are Tesla and Nvidia. The fact that it shot so high up on this overall, just like who's trading the most dollar volume, tells me it's starting to turn a lot of heads, which I have to admit, the fact that this is happening now at the all-time high, it's getting me exciting to see what this next leg of expansion move to the upside is actually gonna be. Of course, these are my own thoughts and opinions, and I would love to hear from you in a comment below. I am not your mom. I am not in control of your money, but whatever you choose to do, I hope you make a lot of money. Let me know your thoughts. Comment below. I appreciate all the good vibes. I'll catch you in the stream tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., bright and early. Hope to see you there.
Peace.